Oh, hi! Season's greetings. Hope you had a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, a happy whatever holiday you were into. I hope it was great for you. You know, as what sometimes happens at the end of every year, people like to post their favorite action figures of the previous year, you know, and I realize I'm a little late because we're already into 2022 at this point, but I made the mistake last year of not waiting. And there was a couple things that came in at the tail end of the year that I might have put on my list if I had them ahead of time, but, you know, I didn't. And that was me messing up, and I apologize to anybody who that affected. Luckily this year I smartened up and I decided we're not going to do that again. We're going to just wait until the calendar year has flipped over to 2022, and then, and only then, can I make my list. So what you're going to notice about this list is it's a little different. We're going to arrange it in a totally different way than we have in years past. There's going to be honorable mentions, there's going to be some different things here and there, and I'm going to put them in a different order than I usually do. So we're going to start right in the list, and then we're going to pause, talk about some honorable mentions. Then we're going to get back to the list, and then we're going to do a little bonus segment. That's right, I got you covered. Merry Christmas. After that, we're going to go straight into the top figures of the year as I see it. Obviously, you are free to disagree. Write them right in the comments. Make your own list. You might have even done it already. I'm sorry I didn't watch it yet. I've been busy. You're going to notice right away that there is a lack of Marvel Legends figures on this list. That's not because I don't like Marvel Legends. I thought they had a pretty strong year. That House of X wave I liked. That Age of Apocalypse wave was really nice. There were some multi-packs that were nice. Thing is, I might just do a separate video just for Marvel Legends. So we'll see. I don't know. I might. With that all out of the way, my name is Captain McKay. Welcome to the top figures of 2021. Is it a top 10 list? I don't know, not really. The title says top 10, but it's not really top 10. I think it's like top 15. Actually, no, it's 14. It's not 15. But then it's not even really 14 either. You'll see what I mean. Let's go. Let's jump right in. In at 14, we got MonsterArts Godzilla from the Godzilla vs. Kong movie. I was excited for this guy, namely because I loved this movie when it came out, and because I never got any of the MonsterVerse Godzilla figures from this series. Now I know technically this could have been an honorable mention, just because it's repurposed from the older versions of this figure, but hey, I never told you my list was going to make any sense. I do like what they did with the paint, where his backplates are all lit up like he's about to hit an atomic blast. The articulation is great for a stocky figure like this, and it pairs well with any of the other MonsterArts figures from the Legendary movies. I'd say if you don't have it, definitely consider it. Let's look at a unique entry, this being the Doomslayer from Nendoroid. I've never owned one of these before, but when I saw they were doing the Doomslayer, I instantly pre-ordered it. These guys are interesting in that they pose like action figures, but they have the proportions of a Funko Pop or some other kind of exaggerated collectible. The accessories for the Doomslayer are what you'd expect, including his shotgun, his crucible sword, as well as clip-on flamethrower and arm blade attachments. To say nothing about the chainsaw and the Cacodemon victim. As a Doom fan, I can greatly appreciate this figure. It's a ton of fun. WWE Mattel Ultimate Edition John Cena and The Rock share the spot for number 12. I've been a fan of the Ultimate line ever since it started, and they continue to improve. I was really impressed with these two. My main issue with Mattel over the past decade has been the lack of articulation, namely double jointed elbows. That's been implemented on this line, as well as a really nice integrated butterfly joint for additional posing options. These two are standouts in my opinion. I'd love to have said the same thing for Undertaker and Kane, which were both good, but definitely both had some issues for me. These two, though, awesome. I think they're both still pretty readily available, so grab them if you can. You won't regret it. And if you think two figures sharing a slot goes against the very concept of this list, you haven't seen anything yet. That's right, we're doing the whole Ginyu Force. At least all the ones that came out this year. These are great figures individually, but they truly shine when they're put together. JEICE, RECOME, and BURTER all pose as well as you'd expect from SH Figuarts, and the inclusion of the Namek Dragon Balls is a great touch. BURTER comes with Guldo, which is barely a figure and more of a glorified statue with interchangeable arms, but I can let that slide for now. The whole gang looks great posed up, and the fact that we're at the point where SH Figuarts is making characters like these guys really says something about the longevity and depth of the line that collectors are willing to buy. Great figures here. Let's cut back over to NECA's cartoon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles line. I could probably go down a list of the best figures just from this series, but I want to shine a light on GROUNDCHUCK and DIRTBAG. This is an example of the figure's quality speaking for itself, because I have virtually no memory of these two characters from the cartoon. I only remember fighting them in video games on the Nintendo. But I can't help but appreciate the paintwork and sculpting that went into both of these guys. The hinged jaws work seamlessly on both, and the fact that DIRTBAG can literally pop in half so you can use his tunneling ability effect makes him even more playable and useful in different display setups. Every one of these sets does come with a ton of props and accessories straight out of the cartoon. NECA does their homework, and they really put their best foot forward with these two. Speaking of the Turtles, let's jump over to Super 7 and their TMNT figures. I'm particularly talking about Leonardo, Michelangelo, and Donatello. Raphael came out last year, and while I said I did like him, my main takeaway was that once the other figures came out, I'd probably grow to love the whole team more than the sum of its parts. Turned out, I was right. Setting these guys up in a squad is a lot of fun and really hits the Playmates nostalgia button hard. The fact that they come with all their original weapons, plus different props and head sculpts, really adds to the overall playability of these guys. I know the retro look isn't for everyone. Luckily, the alternate heads do help with that. I would recommend these figures to anyone who wants to add a great looking TMNT set to their collection. Pretty good stuff so far, I would say. Now, I'd like to jump in at this point and let's talk about some honorable mentions. Now, there's a lot of stuff that came out that didn't quite make the list. That doesn't mean it's a bad figure or that it doesn't, really stand out as like exceptional in any way. It's just something that I thought maybe was just shy of making my top figures list. But I definitely wanted to shout them out. So, with that said, here are the shout outs. Survivor Series 1996, BRET the Hitman HART. This is a figure that I've wanted for as long as I can remember, and it's a very distinct look for the Hitman that I don't think we've ever had in figure form. Brett's got his black lower body with the deeper pink and orange highlights he wore in the match. The reason this doesn't quite break my top figures this year is down to the head sculpt being ugly as sin. I switched it out with a modified head sculpt from the Ultimate Edition figure because to me, the other head sculpt should have never been used. The articulation is standard fare for an Elite figure from Mattel, which is kind of a bummer since they did start using double jointed elbows that I think would have added to this figure overall. But don't take my minor critiques as a dismissal of this figure. It's great. Ever since I swapped the head with the Ultimate Edition versions, I really love it. Next we got Kung Lao from Storm Collectibles' Mortal Kombat line. This is the look he had in MK2 with the blue and black gear. The figure's posing options are really solid and can hit a ton of martial arts poses. I was able to do a stop motion with him that showcased a great range of articulation. The accessories he comes with are also very nice, but the thing that keeps him on the honorable mention list is probably the head sculpts. I'm not really sold on them. Luckily, his hat does obscure his face in a lot of poses, so I'm not really too bothered by it. But still, head sculpts notwithstanding, this is an excellent figure and a great addition to the classic Mortal Kombat roster. Here comes the Beasts of the Mesozoic STYRACOSAURUS from Creative Beast Studios. I've been following this line all the way back since it began, and I got a few of their Raptor series figures a few years back, and I really love the variety. They announced the Ceratopsian series, and this one was among them, so I decided to pick it up strictly for a stop-motion battle against King Kong. When I was animating that video, this figure really grew on me, and I could appreciate just how great it was on its own. These are the types of figures where they really improve based on having other figures to pair them with in displays, but even on its own, the colors really pop and the articulation is really nice. Very happy with this figure. And since I already mentioned King Kong, let's talk about NECA's Kong figure offerings from this year. They're honorable mentions because they're basically repurposed from the version that came out last year. There were two versions, the jungle version and the city version. Both figures were identical with alternate head sculpts, including a movie-inspired one with a hinged jaw that functions extremely well. The jungle version includes a tree branch, a pit monster, and a pteranodon, while the city version has an airplane and the wrist shackles from the theater in New York. If you didn't get the first release, go for one of these. And if you did get the first one, there's enough here for you to get some enjoyment out of the new ones. Let's stick with NECA and talk about Vernon. He came with the Rat King in a 2-pack in their cartoon TMNT line. The figure is literally just a cameraman, but if you remember the cartoon, then you know how perfectly NECA captured his entire attitude and air of smugness with the head sculpt. He also includes accessories that turn him into a rat creature, but I've never used them. I just love this figure as is. It impressed me way more than I expected it to. Hasbro's Transformers Kingdom series, Megatron and Dinobot have to get a mention here. See, I used to love Beast Wars, and as someone who never got into the classic Transformers, it's great to see Hasbro giving some love to the versions of these characters I really did used to like. The Beast forms look relatively good, but they truly stand out in robot mode. Now they're not on par with Masterpiece figures, but for the price, I'll take it. Masterpieces cost hundreds, these guys were much cheaper. And they pair well with current Kingdom figures, as well as Beast Wars figures from previous lines going all the way back to the 90s. There's a consistency here that very few lines have going for them, and I'm a big fan of what they're doing. Finally, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this, the HasLab Marvel Legends Sentinel. Now I know that lots of people have mentioned the issues that this figure had, namely with the knee joints being loose, but to me that's not really a huge issue. Maybe I just got lucky with my figure not having too much of that going on. The paint is clean on mine, the articulation works great, and I love the head sculpts. That Master Mold one is particularly great to me. It gives this figure lots of use among different collections. Whether you're army building this guy or you just got one, there's no harm in having this thing in your collection. That is, if you can find a place to put it. Number 8 is SH MonsterArts Kong from Godzilla vs. Kong. Now you knew that seeing Godzilla on this list meant that Kong wasn't going to be far behind. I was thrilled about this, since MonsterArts hadn't made a Kong figure since the Peter Jackson version from years ago. And while I really do like this figure, I can acknowledge that he isn't perfect. The faces aren't quite spot on with the movie appearance. He also does have a bit of glossiness to him, and there were a lot of people who were talking about joints breaking. Luckily, I had shock oil on deck, so I didn't have those issues, but it's not a great look to have a figure break like that. The only other thing I could have wished for is a snarling head sculpt, which I know there are custom 3D printed options available with nice paint jobs out there, but still, for the price, the base figure alone is nice, extremely posable, and the axe accessory is well done. It's not perfect, but hey, I'm a mark for Kong, so he's gotta be on this list. Let's pedal back to the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Z line, and we gotta talk about Gohan. Now this figure is technically a 2020 release, but this was one of the figures that got delayed because of all the shipping vessels falling in the ocean or whatever was going on there. But once it finally arrived, it was worth it. Gohan is small, but it retains all of the articulation you'd expect from SH Figuarts, and the different head sculpts give you an option for 2 separate looks, with the short hair and the long hair. The longer hair even has a joint, so you can articulate it and get some different poses. This version of Gohan looks great among the other characters in the line. Furthermore, he pushes the limits and sets new standards of articulation for the small characters going forward. And once again, I have to shout out how awesome it is that this line has literally spanned almost the entire length of Gohan's life at this point. Great figure right here. Switching over to the big boys now. Number 6, Storm Collectibles E-Honda figure from their Street Fighter line. I've been singing their praises for a long time, and when Storm makes a big figure, they're equal parts heavy and articulated. E-Honda is no exception. This guy's very posable for his stocky size. The softer overlays that Storm uses make it so the articulation is not prohibited, and the full range of motion can be reached. I can't say enough good things about this figure. He fits in really nicely with the other Street Fighter characters. Now, if I could just convince Storm that we need a tie-in Final Fight line so we could fill out more of the Street Fighter roster, as well as selfishly I can finally get my Hagar figure. Maybe in 2022. Okay, we're coming to a close here, but before we get into the creme de la creme of action figure excellence of the year 2021, as I see it, in my opinion, I gotta keep saying that or people will get mad in the comments, I'd like to offer you a Christmas present of my own. See, here's something I learned many, many years ago from a man named Sal Melendez. Turns out, when you're making a top list, you can insert a totally separate top list inside of that top list. That's right. So without further ado, my Christmas present to you all, my belated New Year's gift, whatever you want to call it, here you go. This is Mountain Man's top 10 action figures of 2021 as determined by whatever it was he pulled out of his childhood home over Thanksgiving. So, take it away. Where are you going?
Oh, let me change that.
Oh, I understand you got a top 10 list.
I don't have
Or, well, a top, whatever.
Alright, let's have a look.
Whatever you got. Yeah.
Let's look in the toy box.
I opened them up for you. I figured there'd be a couple
Yeah, you did.
good things happening here.
Gigan.
They got rinse.
Sort of.
Kinda. Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he's got a little bit of articulation.
Little claws.
Little tail swivel.
Yeah. Vintage.
Got that fin. The Gigan teeth that he has.
Little pincer thing.
This is his brother.
Yeah.
Logan.
Guy Don.
Yeah. Number 10, I guess.
Okay.
This is number 1. Straight to it.
The sea creature.
The sea creature, yeah. As a little kid, I thought Creature from the Black Lagoon was the coolest monster. Always wanted one. And I got this guy.
That's the Toddfather, right?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Look. And for Toddfather, this is some articulation.
Even by today's standards,
Yeah, look at this.
That's beating most of Todd's articulation.
His head doesn't move because it got ripped off, so I had to glue it on as a kid. But he's pretty sweet.
There you go.
There's that.
I mean, that's the Rancor that did fund back in the
Yeah.
day for $30.
His face is stained with something.
It's like you buried him in the dirt.
I don't know, it's dirt, man.
I like how you just like among all these toys, you just got like a pistol.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Got bear.
Some hotness.
Hotness. I got this Kong.
Oh, there he is.
People seem to like him.
Yeah, he's a good one.
Yeah, they don't have one.
Vintage, yeah.
Got a Buzz Lightyear. Classic.
That's a throwback.
Got a ton of aliens that are all broken, probably. There's a bull. Missing his, freaking, his arm.
Aliens. Nice.
How do you make this? Oh, there it
There
is.
it goes, yep. Battering
There's
ram.
that.
The power loader.
Power loader's missing his arm, too.
It's like everything just... There's one arm just broken off of everything.
Everything. You're not... Why?
Is that the rhino?
Yeah.
No leg.
Missing his arm.
Yep, one limb. Just...
Oh, there it is.
It's the same as the bull, right?
Yeah, he just looks a little different. I don't know who this is. No, it's nothing. His head's missing. Jeez. This is a favorite. The queen, the first queen they made.
Once again, is that an arm that's... Oh no,
God,
all the arms
like,
intact.
Nah. This one had like the mouth to shoot that thing out. This is actually pretty sweet.
Yeah, honestly.
Maybe I'll take her out so she doesn't get broken.
Put it aside with,
For what?
you know, with bootleg guy again and the sea monster.
We got some Primal Rage figures.
Oh shit, fighting game of the 90s.
Yeah. I was so excited. I was like killing it, I thought, at that game. And then I had Bobby come over and I couldn't beat him once. And I was throwing a fit. Like, I was so pissed. Here's another Rancor.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's hotness.
It's got hotness. You can like put shit in his mouth. Like little people.
God damn.
Yeah. Goldar. Little
Tiny little Goldar.
guy. So
That beats that lightning collection shit that's out today.
oh. There's a toothbrush in here. Oh, there's one of my favorite Predators as a kid, missing his arm. Jeez. Oh, the shittiest alien they ever designed.
Is that the resurrection one?
Yeah.
Is that Kenner?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What, is that worth something?
I don't know if it's worth anything. It's just like, I was like, that's got to be pre-McFarlane and definitely
oh,
like,
McFarlane, yeah,
definitely pre-NECA.
we got some stuff.
The good stuff. A Game Boy.
Oh, we got
That Game Boy probably still
Bob
works.
Crane.
There he is, Johnny D himself.
Yep. Broly.
Nice. Gold hair.
Yep, he's number 6.
We got 1, 6, and 10.
Oh, I realized I hadn't been counting anything.
Yeah, that's it.
Here's a little treasure box.
Hey.
No treasure in it. Gremlin.
Nice. That guy's actually pretty sweet looking
he's
too.
pretty sweet. There's this guy. He kills aliens. Look.
Oh damn, he's got the tail on his
Yeah.
arm. Did that have one of like the mouth like gimmick things too, or is he just?
He glows in the dark.
Oh
Look,
yeah.
he's got an alien on his chest too.
Oh, put him through the. We'll like rinse him off and leave him out here. Get him
Okay.
glowing.
Look at this guy.
Oh, it's my man.
Yeah.
Gohan. He's on my list too.
Nice. Yeah, he's number 3. Three Stooges. There's a scorpion alien.
Oh, that's one of the best ones.
Oh,
There you go. Super Saiyan 4.
number 7. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, number 8's right here.
Oh yeah, that one's good. There you go.
Did I say 8? I meant number 2.
Old school. Counter Velociraptor.
There's a Limp Biscuit.
That's number 3.
Number 3.
Command and Conquer.
Got some Amazon Trail, whatever that is, and some Aftermath.
Nice, Red Alert.
Yeah. Ooh, we got this sweet Predator with no leg.
There's it. That's a Todd Father.
That's a Todd Father. There's some
It's a calculator.
Smurf in there.
Gargamel.
Gargamel.
Dragon Ball Z like trading card in there against the side there.
God, hope. Yeah, it is. Piccolo. Foil.
Oh, hotness.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Oh, shit.
Oh my God, Gohan.
Let's put this up here. That's number 8.
That's a keeper. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh. Careful.
It's been used.
You know, yeah,
That's some battle.
that's some battle. You see all the damage
Yeah.
that you're
That's,
swinging those around, fighting back in the old days.
Number 6.
Or did he? No, I think 6 is open.
Number 5.
Okay, one or the other.
But yeah, here we are.
Mountain Man's
There we
top
go.
10 list.
Yeah.
That's some good stuff. What a list, let me tell you. Never a dull moment here in Apartment 9. Now, let's go right back into it. These are The top 5 figures of 2021, according to me, one guy on the internet. Let's go. You knew this was coming. It's NECA's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Disguise 4-pack. That's right, a 4-in-1 entry, baby. It's easy to just assume that these are reissues of the earlier NECA cartoon turtles, but there's enough engineering here to differentiate them from the first releases. Some minor articulation updates and new head sculpts that allow for changing of expressions means tons of display variations to the point where you'll never get the same setup twice. And that's before you add in all the actual disguises. You get cloth pants and coats for each turtle, and different masked head sculpts to hide their identities. Or if you want a different option, you could just use the hats they come with for their regular heads. As if the set wasn't good enough already, they also include lots of accessories. Pizza, weapons, alternate hands, hell, even Pigeon Pete. I love this set, and it's very deserving of its spot on anybody's top figures list. Let's take a look over to Mafex now, and this Wolverine in his brown costume. Now, I don't have much background with Mafex. The last figure of theirs I have is the first Christian Bale Batman, and I've heard of a lot of QC issues over the years with their releases. The quality does seem to have stepped up, but that first Wolverine release didn't do much for me. The metallic blue tiger stripes, the exaggerated claws, that arm that fell off, I skipped that one. However, all those issues I had with that figure were corrected here. I gotta say, this figure's incredible. And that's coming from someone who loves the Marvel Legends brown Wolverine too. Now, I still think that figure's really nice, but this one is a step up from basically every Wolverine in my collection. The different head sculpts and swap out hands really set this figure off. I will say, 1 or 2 more accessories wouldn't have hurt since this is a pretty expensive figure. Still though, I'm really glad I got this one. It definitely put Mafex back on my radar. And here we are, top 3. The bronze medal this year goes to none other than King Diamond from Super 7. I can't find any fault with this figure. I might be biased since I'm just a King Diamond fan, but for what you get here, this is all I could have ever asked for from an 80s era King Diamond figure. He can be customized to incorporate a few different looks, both in and out of his classic face paint. There are even 2 different painted faces to give you a classic early Merciful Fate option. The jewelry has some nicely realized satanic symbols, and the skull accessory, crucifix microphone, and alternate hands make me thrilled to own this. Super 7 figures don't always offer the same range of articulation as other companies, but for King Diamond, I don't miss it. He can do anything that I would ever need him to do, and I love that this figure not only exists, but it was made with love and attention to detail. Excellent figure. Placing second this year is Frieza from Dragon Ball Z. This is the first form version from SH Figuarts, and the fun factor is through the roof here. He has his various expressions, hands, and all the posability you'd ever hope for from a Figuarts release. But, similar to what I said about DIRTBAG earlier, Frieza can pop in half and be slotted into his floating pod accessory, giving you even more display options. It's very well done, and much like the other figures I mentioned earlier, he looks incredible fighting the heroes, or displayed with the Ginyu Force. I love that Figuarts is going back and doing alternate versions of the classic characters, especially given the quality of excellence they've been treating them with. This is a stellar release. Probably would have been my top figure, if it wasn't for one final challenger to the throne. Number 1, Storm Collectibles, Mortal Kombat, Motaro. You knew you'd see him here, but you didn't know where. As I mentioned before, I've been singing the praises of Storm's figures for years, but this is outside the box for them. I do admit I was a little wary of how they'd pull this off, but man, did they ever pull it off. The sculpt is excellent. The expressions of the head sculpt look straight out of Mortal Kombat 3 character artwork. The bendy wire in the tail works perfectly and holds its pose, and the figure can be posed on all 4 legs, or it can be also propped up on his back legs to fight somebody down in front of him. As if the incredible range and sheer size weren't enough, he comes with an entire other figure, that being the bloody version of the previously released skeleton. Now this is a redeco of the Golden Axe skeletons, but what a job they did. This not only adds to Motaro's overall value, but it opens up even more possibilities for any Mortal Kombat display. Now I could bang on and on about this figure and how good it is, but when it comes to my top figures of 2021, it can be summed up in 2 words.
Motaro wins.
And there you have it, the top action figures of 2021. I think they're my favorites. I think there was a lot of great stuff action figure wise in 2021. I've showcased a lot of it. I know if you didn't see what you wanted to see on this channel, somebody else has already talked about it on one of their channels. I tried to differentiate a little bit, throwing stuff like Nendoroid and King Diamond and stuff you might not see on other people's list, but stuff that's very near and dear to my heart. And you come here because you want a little something different. And this video, let's face it, this was different. With that said, with that all out of the way, what did you see on this list that was one of your favorites? Or what wasn't on this list that you thought should have been? So let's get discussing. Get in the comments, tell me what you like, tell me what you weren't thrilled with in 2021 as far as figures go. Thank you for watching this. As always, my name is Captain McKay. You can follow me here on Instagram. That's where you'll see some stop motion clips, some of the ones that you saw here in this video. You'll see him there before I get him here on YouTube in a more complete setting. Don't forget, like the video, share it, tell all your friends, like, hey, that Captain McKay guy was on the internet talking about toys. Oh, really? Was he? Was it cool? No, of course not. He's never cool. But watch him anyway. Thank you as always. I'll catch you in the next one. Later on.